Had a bit of a issue with my cat deciding that she wanted her dinner immediately. Delayed me getting started by a moment or two. But tonight, if you looked at the title, you probably realized that we are doing spicy chicken quesadillas. It's going to be pretty fast. It's a pretty simple recipe, which makes it absolutely perfect for a weeknight meal. So, I've already cooked the chicken breast. We'll be getting that out in a second. But we're going to kind of get everything else ready first, and we're going to shred the chicken into the bowl and put it on the tortillas and be ready to go. All right. First off, we're going to shred up this pepper jack, which is just I've already measured it out. It's about 4 ounces. Doesn't really matter too much. You can go a little bit more. You can go a little bit less. It's just how spicy and how cheesy do you want your quesadillas to be. You can also substitute with cheddar or some other jack cheese if you prefer. Just depends on how much spice you want. Also, we'll have some pickled jalapeno because jalapeno is great and pickled jalapeno is also great. And we'll be mincing that up and into this mixture to add a little bit of extra kick. Because, halfway through the week, sometimes you need that little bit of a kick to kind of keep going. Or at least I do. I don't know about everyone else. Maybe you all get it from coffee. Which I actually bought a coffee grinder this week. I've never ground my own coffee besides at the big grinders at the stores. But I'm going to give it a shot. Got a whole bunch of whole bean coffee. And I got a grinder. And we'll see how it turns out. I did kind of play it safe. I picked the whole bean of the coffee that I was drinking already, so I know how it should be tasting, and I know how I like it to taste. So I should be able to do that and have some pretty solid results, I think. All right, so that is our shredded pepper jack. Now, next up on here, we're going to do about a tablespoon of minced pickled jalapeno. That's the real reason why you wear an apron, so that when you open that and spill it, it goes on your apron instead of on you. Yeah, a little bit of jalapeno juice never hurt anybody. Well, okay, that's absolutely not true because jalapeno juice is quite spicy, and I can imagine quite a few ways in which that could hurt people, but a little bit spilled on my clothes probably isn't going to hurt me. Just going to get a decent number out here. We'll be mincing it to a tablespoon or so, and I'm not sure if it's going to compress or expand. So I'm going to start off with that, and we'll see how far that goes. We are going to be keeping this relatively fine because I just rattle against the wall. I need to get a more stable workspace. We do want this to be minced pretty fine because we don't want to bite into something thinking that it's not going to be as spicy as it is. So we are definitely keeping this nice and fine so it can spread out and not be too overpowering in one bite. All right. That's approximately a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more, but I think that should be just about right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dump that in there. I'm going to wash off my hands really well because that is jalapeno. And jalapeno is not fun to have in your contacts because I wear contacts. And it's even less fun to figure that out when you go to bed and you take out your contacts and you're wondering why your eyes are swelling shut. So I am really washing my hands very thoroughly. If I thought ahead a little bit more, I probably could have grabbed some gloves or something to touch the jalapenos with, but I didn't think about it. So we'll see how good of a job I did tonight at 11:30. We'll see if I manage to actually wash them off, or if I'm going to be bringing myself a lot of pain. Honestly, it could be both. There's still sometimes enough left over from that oil that it causes a problem. Alright, so we've got our pickled jalapeno, we've got our pepper jack. The recipe calls for fresh cilantro leaves. I don't have cilantro on hand, and I didn't really feel like getting any for this because I don't care enough about cilantro in my stuff. So I'm leaving out the cilantro, which means that the next thing that we have to do is just the chicken breast. So I'll go ahead and grab that out of my Instant Pot, which I maintain is one of the most useful kitchen implements that you can get, because it can do so much stuff. Alright, got our chicken breast there. That should be approximately, let's see, the recipe calls for about 3 ounces, but you know what, the actual weight isn't too necessary. We're not looking at this being, I'm not saying that I actually get to bed every night at 11:30. But that's my goal. Don't know if I'll hit it every night, but yeah. We'll go ahead and just get this all shredded up. Just want to have a little bit mixed in with everything. The goal of this is to have it be a quesadilla. The cheese kind of comes first, and all the other stuff is sort of like mix-ins. It's not chicken first and then everything else. It's cheese first. At least that's how I've always thought of it. But I am a big fan of, cheese and tortillas, so perhaps I'm a little bit biased. We'll finish just getting this all shredded here. And again, I mean, the thing that takes the longest about this recipe is the chicken. And if you prepare stuff in advance, I mean, I started the chicken a while ago. If you prepare stuff in advance, the rest of it comes together pretty fast. We're now, what is it, like 7 or 8 minutes in? 9 minutes in, alright. We're like 9 minutes in, and we've already got basically all of the filling ready. Which is quite a lot faster than a number of my other videos that are a little bit more ambitious. But it's the weeknight, and we're just looking to kind of get some stuff, on the table for dinner. We're just going to kind of mix all this up, undoing all of that hand scrubbing I was doing. So I do have jalapenos in here, and again, I should have thought about those rubber gloves. I should probably just have like a box that I keep in here. But I don't, and I didn't, so. We'll rinse our hands again, to at least wash off some of the oil from the jalapenos. And I've already got forks. We'll start filling our first tortilla. So for this, we're just going to try and fill half of the tortilla. So actually here, if I fold this in half, kind of crease it a little bit so I can see where that is, we're going to end up filling half of this reasonably full. We want to leave a little bit around the edges so that it can seal shut. A couple nice big spoonfuls there, and this will make more than two quesadillas, which is perfect because these things look delicious, and I'm sure that I won't be able to stop with just one. Here we've got our first one. You're supposed to do these in batches of 2. Again, I creased it. And we'll just kind of get the next couple scoops on there. Looks like it might make 3. And obviously it's a pretty easy recipe to scale up. So if I was cooking for more than 2 people, I would probably double or triple this. But I am only cooking for 2 people, so this is probably just about the right amount. I could probably have increased it a little bit. Alright, so we've got our 2 quesadillas made, and now it's time to move over to the stove, where we're going to get the pan oiled up and heat it up and see about actually cooking these. If I can swap to the right stove view. Alright. And where did I put my oil? There's my oil. So we're just going to get this up over medium-high heat so we can heat it up pretty fast. Get some oil in there. I always use a little bit more oil than I think I'm going to need when I'm using cast iron, because it does absorb a little bit, and it helps to increase the non-stick surface. Alrighty. So we're going to get this nice and shimmering and nice and warm. And we're going to be putting both tortillas in at once. They should both fit. We will find out if that's correct or not. But they are supposed to both fit. And then to obviously stir these around and handle them, we've also got a spatula here, and is that not actually updating? Nope, it's not. This camera sometimes gives me problems. Alright, there we go. Don't really know why it sticks sometimes. I don't know if it's the phone that I'm using, or if it's the program on it. There's a newer option out there from the developer who makes the app that I use on the other phone. And I've been kind of beta testing it, but it crashes every now and then, which is not really what you want to have happen. That's getting nice and warm, so we're going to go ahead and lay in our quesadillas. All right. Just going to try and push these down a little bit to seal the edges as much as I can. Bump the heat up just a little bit because this is a cooler burner as opposed to either of my front ones. We're just going to kind of move these around a little bit so they don't stay. They have the chance to evenly crisp on the entirety of their bottom sides. This is always the part that's the hardest about cooking. You have to wait for, you've made most of it. Now you have to wait for the rest of it to finish so you can actually eat it. It's truly terrible. It is. It does have a very nice, like, kind of sizzling sound as it kind of sizzles on its first side. One of these days I'll get around to adding a microphone over here so that I don't have to describe all the cooking sounds. I'm able to just be like, listen to this. We are sort of frying that first side in the oil just a bit, which will give it lots and lots of deliciousness. Again, I'm coming through and with the spatula, I'm just sort of pressing down on the edges, just trying to make sure that they stay sealed. I can see they are popping up a little bit. I want them to stay as sealed as possible to retain all that heat and heat up that delicious pepper jack cheese. We're going to do this until the first side is kind of puffy and maybe a light golden brown, which is not yet. Once that happens, we'll be flipping it over to the other side. I should probably get my salt ready because we're going to want to season it with salt. Yes, sizzling food is fantastic. It's horribly unhealthy, but it tastes delicious, so really, in the end, it's perfect for you, right? And like I said, I'm just keeping this moving around a little bit so it doesn't there aren't any hot spots, and it has a chance to fully, get heat everywhere, because I know that the bottom of my pan is not perfectly even in terms of heat distribution. Cast iron is not an even heat distribution cooking platform. It has lots and lots of hot spots. What cast iron is great for is heat retention. And of course that whole natural non-stick surface that people love. But it's great at heat retention because it's got a lot of thermal mass. But in terms of spreading heat out so everything cooks evenly, that would be something like copper, or copper is the one that's coming to mind. I know there's another one out there. I think it's an alloy of some kind that does a really good job of that as well. But copper pans are kind of expensive. I could probably get a couple if I really wanted to, but honestly, moving stuff around and taking my time a little bit works just as well and saves me a lot of money. So that's what I do. Alright, that bottom is looking pretty good to me. So we're going to go ahead and flip that over. Let's see if I can flip this one over without spilling it. That was an okay flip. I'll give it like a, 2 out of 10. Maybe a 3 on a good day. Maybe I'll catch the judges in a good mood and they'll give me a 3. But I think that was probably a 2 in terms of flips. And while we wait for this, we're just going to go ahead and add some salt. Yes, I am adding a fairly decent amount of salt because, as I've said before, I think that most people under-season their food. I think it takes a lot more salt to over-season than people think it does. I know it is gorgeous, and it smells really good too. So every time I do one of these videos, I'm like, oh, if only you could smell this. It's true. It's true. Someday the technology will be there. But it has not yet arrived. So we're going to be giving that another moment or two on that side. I'm going to be getting some paper towels ready, because we're going to want to drain these as soon as they come off. And so I'm not doing anything particularly fancy. I'm just doing the classic paper towels on the plate, and we'll be leaving it there for a moment or two to drain before we cut them up. Ooh, it's got a nice crunch on that crust too. Let's see how's that going. A little bit more. I'll rotate this one around. Maybe slide them around a little bit. Almost there. I think this one's ready. I'll flip it over just a little bit longer on this one side to kind of get them matching. Let's see about this one. That one's pretty good. Let's see if I can get that edge just a little bit more. And actually, while that sits for, I was thinking about putting in a third one, but I don't think I'm gonna have time to make it. Yep, I think that looks pretty good, so we're gonna transfer that over here. That one definitely looks pretty good, so we're going to transfer that one over here. I'm leaving this on the heat to very quickly. Yeah, see, smell-o-vision's a really cool concept, but in practice, it's really complicated because you have to have all the smells kind of pre-made. And that doesn't really work out too well for a lot of things. You have to have very specific scents in mind. And I don't know that it would really work too well for something like this. I'm sure that if you could have a spectrograph or something like analyze the scent and then replicate that from a known group of chemicals, like that might work. And I could see that, you know, starting off with a pretty limited reproduction ability. And over time, as everything got better, I could see that increasing and getting better. But I really feel like that's something that would be difficult to replicate reliably. And for this, I just took the last of the filling that I had and I stuck it in a tortilla. I don't really want to have to store it. So I'm going to, while that one cooks on its first side, I'm going to bring the others over to the cutting board again so we can admire them properly. And I'll remember to swap the camera view somewhere here. There we go. Move the salt away. Alright, so yeah, these are our quesadillas. They look pretty good, they feel pretty great. Got that right amount of crispiness, so we're gonna go ahead, cut one up and just see how it is. And for this, I'm just gonna do the classic triangles, a little bit squirting out the sides there. Right, let's give this a shot. Got a great crisp texture, and that tastes really good. You got the jalapeno and the pepper jack really comes through pretty well, and so does the chicken. Yeah, that's really good. I think I got a jalapeno seed on the back of my throat though. Ooh. Yeah, that's great. That's a really good spicy quesadilla. That's really what I look for when I want a nice spicy quesadilla. Man, that's delicious. I'm going to definitely go eat all of this. And probably the other one that I'm making as well. I might try to see if I can eat all 3 before my partner finds out that I've finished. So I'm just kidding. She'll get hers. But I'm gonna head off and I'm gonna eat this. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. That's all I had tonight. And I know it was a really good crunch. I'm really happy with how those turned out. It probably helps that my microphone's fairly close to my mouth. But yeah, no, I'm very, very pleased, and I am going to go eat these. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any ideas for future ones, drop them in the comments or let me know. Ooh, sour cream would be really good. Oh, okay. Hold on. I don't have sour cream. Do I still have Greek yogurt? I still do have Greek yogurt. Ooh. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking. Let's see here. Somewhere here I've got a spoon. Just gonna get a bit of Greek yogurt here, which is a pretty solid replacement for sour cream. Not perfect, but pretty good. Got that. Put these in there. Put that in there. Okay, let's see how this is. Yep, that's really good. That's a perfect addition. Good thought. Because that gives it that extra little bit that it was. Well, I hadn't really thought of it missing, but it was. And it actually cools down that jalapeno just a little bit, which I'm okay with. I like jalapeno, but not having it be incredibly overwhelming is also nice. So that's pretty great. So I am definitely going to go enjoy this now. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I enjoyed making dinner. So I will catch you guys next time. All right.